Hello everybody, Perko here with this week's pontification, which is Tax 2.0. The reason I'm doing another one is I did a bit more research on comments people made. They couldn't understand why was that although clearly as an ordinary worker you were paying about 42% back in 1966 and now you're paying about 15%. But you seem to be paying a lot more in tax. Well, the reality is, of course, you're right, you are. And the reason for that is that they keep on bringing in new ways of people paying tax. Since 2000, again I'm just doing the UK, they have brought in 21 changes to the tax code. So that's about one a year, or almost one a year. So if you're on the losing end of that, which of course most of us are, then you're going to just keep paying more and more, and it seems like it just never ends. To give you an idea, because another thing people say is, oh, it's the wealthy that pay all the tax. Well, monetarily speaking, maybe, but in terms of percentage of your income, definitely not. The bottom 10% of income earners have 48% of the money they earn finish up in inland revenue, one way or another. For the top 10%, it's 39%, and for the top 1%, it's 15%. So yes, they do earn more money, they do pay more tax, but as a percentage of income, not anywhere near as much. The tech bros, for instance, have figured out that if you just pay yourself maybe $100,000 a year, which is what they do, then the tax rate on other ways that the companies reward them for what they're doing is not taxed at anywhere near as much. And of course, with all those shares as assets, they can just simply borrow money and charge off the interest to something else or somebody else. Anyway, there is a big problem. The economy is in the shape of a K, and what that means is the top is going up and the bottom is coming down, which of course the wealthy may think, who cares? Well, you better, because you may be really good at creating services and goods that people have demand for, but guess what? If they don't have any money to buy it, they ain't gonna buy it. So that's when you get a depression and things start to go down a big whirly hole. Now, there was another sort of question that was put to me, is how is it that you can actually avoid paying more tax? Well, there is one way you can do it legally, and there are a bunch of people, who do that. And put in a simple word, which of course will horrify especially some of my American people. The word that you need to turn yourself into is a communist. Yes, a communist. Why is that? Well, it's very simple. I'll give you an example that I know, a place I went to visit about 30 years ago. And it's a community called Twin Oaks. Now, Twin Oaks in and of itself is a very wealthy community. They have it's in Virginia. They have over 450 acres of land. They have buildings that house everybody. They have a fleet of cars. They carry no debt. And so how, you may be interested to know, how it is that they manage to avoid paying tax. Well, because it's designated as a religion, and so sometimes they go out and they do a bit of community outreach. They go and help out in the local community, maybe send out a few teachers or what have you. So the way it's structured is that, as you probably know, as a US citizen, you can get, I don't know what the figure is now, you can get a certain amount of money tax-free before you pay an income on it. Okay, so I don't know what the number is now, but when I went and visited, it was $5,000 a year. Now, this community has a bunch of businesses. Hammock making is one of them, and they make hammocks from basically raw materials. They have the machines that make the ropes, they grow the oak trees that make the bits of wood, and they put in all the labour. Now, they put in somewhere between 40 and 45 hours of work a week, and they have, in exchange for that, I think they get about $15 a month, or might be a bit more than that now, which they can buy little nicks and knacks that they want. But the community pays for everything else: housing, power, healthcare, everything, schooling, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The community pays, which means, guess what? You're never going to be bankrupt if you have a health problem. You're never going to have a problem and have to go bankrupt because your car stopped running. I understand that in America there's 500,000 bankruptcies in the country every year, and most of them are medical bankruptcies. So there's your thing. You can decide. You can either hang together or you can hang separately. Well, that's my pontification for the week. See you next week. Ta-da for now.